this GOP strategist that we're going to play here, he really gets it on the number, and he's ashamed of the party for what the party has done. He's ashamed of the party for what the party has brought to its own, what the leadership of the party has done to its pew. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Hey, Mike, if John F. Kennedy, may he rest in peace, were still among us, I'm aware he'd be 103 years old, but if he embarked on writing a volume 2 of Profiles in Courage, wouldn't it have to be more of a pamphlet? Do you see any examples out there these days?
I think the Republican chapter would be only 1 page long and list a few people like Mitt Romney and Larry Hogan. But to me, this is incredible. I've been in fighting for Republicans for over 35 years. I joined the cause for a reason. And this is the lowest ebb, I think, this week of a pretty awful Trump presidency. Because we have this lawsuit, which on one hand is kind of the rubber chicken of lawsuits. They're going to throw it at the Supreme Court. It's going to get thrown right back. It's ludicrous. There's no standing. But the idea behind it is toxic and real. And to think that the 106 Republican members of Congress, plus 17 attorney generals, would sign on to something that is essentially an attempt to overturn a legitimate American election is something I couldn't even have imagined 4 years ago. So I think it is the stain on the Republican Party is tremendous. And there are so many people on that amicus brief. Dan Crenshaw of Texas knows better. Some of those other congressmen do, but they've let their narrow political ambition and their gutless fear of Donald Trump run wild. Now they're getting close to the treason business. It is unthinkable to me.
Well, Mike, let's keep going right there on what you just said. Crenshaw's name stood out to me, too, as I perused that list of over 100 duly elected members of the House. Forgive my French. These are grown-ass men and women. These are elected Republican representatives. I have never seen people so scared of an individual in my lifetime, but think of what they've done to weaponize the Republican voting base. And think of the expectations now on what we used to call traditional Republicans trying to run for re-election.
Yeah, they've declared a war on the institutions of democracy, and they're telling our hardcore third of the country that the election is illegitimate. It is massively irresponsible beyond anything you could suspect. And again, people like Dan Crenshaw have served the country well earlier in their careers. I don't know how they can look in the mirror right now.
How could he look in the mirror right now? But I tell you something. I've been racking my brain to see how can so many Republican politicians, Republican leaders, jump on a sinking ship, jump on something that has no value. And I rack my brain, folks. But I tell you what, I'm starting to believe. And this is and I have, first of all, let me tell you something. I have no proof of this, and whenever I make hypotheses or whatever, I just tell the truth. But you have intuitions, right? I cannot believe that guys like Lindsey Graham, who were so negative on this president and said bad things about this president, and Cruz, who now said he will represent the president at the Supreme Court, and how they can make that turn, right? And I tell you what, I really am starting to believe. It is true that a lot of these people's emails and privacy have been breached. And I'm starting to believe that the only reason a human being could make a 180-degree change towards an evil person like Donald Trump, towards towards somebody as evil as Donald Trump, somebody with no soul, no intellect as Donald Trump, and they have said it themselves before and then made a 180 degrees. Donald Trump's as a con man, I would almost bet a tiny piece of my little finger that he has dirt on every single one of those 106 Republicans who came out and said, okay, we abide by you. We'll go ahead and support you, including Lindsey Graham. And we know what a lot of Lindsey Graham's skeletons are. We can assume what they are. But we can almost guarantee you that he has a dossier on every single one of those Republicans who have come out knowing better. Crenshaw here in Texas, my district, He knows better. There is something on each one of these guys. I will almost bet the president has that these guys, that he goes ahead and he says the president knows that you did XYZ. The president knows that you did XYZ. You're with him or this leaks tomorrow. And then they leak something about Swalwell, one of our Democratic Congress people, just to show that they could do it. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.